Welcome students and all the viewers in this lecture 9 on Python programming, and you can see on screen highlights of today's class. The first we will discuss about meaning of a scope in real life, and then we will discuss about formal definition of a scope of a variable or for that matter any entity in a program, and then we will discuss about meaning of global and local variables, and then we will see through an example creation of global and local environment. And then we will know about this LEGB rule, that how to resolve scope of variables, and that is local, enclosed, global, and then built-in. So that rule is used to resolve scope of variable, and we will see this with an example. And then we will see use of global keyword, and finally we will I will tell you that we should try to avoid use of global keyword as much as possible. Okay, so actually before trying to know that how to pass mutable and immutable variables, we should first know scope of variables. So that's why I am delivering this lecture on scope of variables today, and then in the next class we will see how to pass. We will come back to mutable and immutable objects, and we will see how to pass mutable and immutable objects to functions. Okay, so let's know the meaning of scope in real life. For example, if you are going to a fair, and then you are there are some events in that fair. For example, there is event 1, or let's say there is event there is a ticket T, okay, and that ticket is for all the events. So if you purchase this ticket E, then you can see all the events. And then there is a ticket T1. If you purchase, then you can only watch event, suppose E1. Okay, then there is suppose ticket T2, and if you purchase this ticket, then you can only watch event T2, or you can only participate in event E2. And then there is this ticket T3. If you purchase this ticket, you can only participate, or you can only see this particular event E3. Now if I tell you, suppose of course this ticket T will be costlier as compared to T1, T2 and T3. Now if you purchase, for example, ticket T, then you will be eligible to attend all these 3 events, E1, E2 and E3. But if you purchase, for example, T2 ticket, then you will be only eligible to participate in this event E2. Now, so you can say that the scope of this particular ticket is valid for all the events. It's valid for all the events. But scope of event of this ticket T2 is only limited to the event E2. Okay, so that is this scope is also valid in the case of Python programming, and I hope you got the concept that this is kind of global ticket. Okay, if you have access to this global ticket, then you can participate in any of these events, E1, E2 and E3. But if you have access to either of these 3, T1, T2 and T3, then you can participate only in one of the events. Okay, so the same is applicable to Python programs also, to Python functions also, and here also we have the concept of scope. So basically scope in case of Python programming means the portion of the program wherein a variable is valid or wherein a variable is accessible. Okay, so let me write the definition first, then I will tell you what is scope in context of Python programming. So the portion of program, okay, within which a variable is known, valid, and then or accessible is called scope of that particular variable. Okay, a scope of that. Okay, so the portion of program within which a variable is known, valid or accessible is called scope of that variable. So meaning by that, if you declare a scope of a variable as global, then it can be accessed throughout the program. But if the scope is local, then it will be accessible within a particular function only. Okay, so here also there is concept of global scope and there is concept of local scope. So if you buy T1 ticket, then your scope is local, or if you buy T2, your scope is local. If you buy T3, then your scope is local. If you buy T3, you cannot be known by these 2 events, E1 and E2. Similarly, if you purchase this ticket T2, then you will not be known by these events E1 and E3. But if you purchase this T ticket, then you will be known by all the event managers of events E1, E2 and E3. Similarly here also, okay, so let me write the program. So let me write a program first and then I will tell you what is local and slow. So I declare a variable a equal to 10, and then suppose I print a, and then outside this function suppose I write num equal to 20, and then I print num. Okay, let's not save it. So this variable num is basically global variable. Okay, so I will come to it again, that what is a global variable, what is a local variable. But this variable num is global variable. It is known to all the functions. It will be known by all the functions in your program. But this variable a out here, this is local variable. It is only known inside this function fun. If you try to access it outside the function, if you try to print the value of a outside this function in the main, then it will give you error, because this is only known locally. It is only known to this function fun. Okay, it is not known outside this function body. Hence this variable is local, whereas this variable num is global variable. Okay, so let me come to today's highlights once again. So the meaning of global variable is that a variable declared outside all the functions is basically a global variable. Okay, whereas a local variable is the one which is declared inside a function. Okay, so let me write the definition here, and then I will explain this concept with an example. So a global variable is a variable declared outside all the functions. Outside all the functions. Okay, so a global variable is a variable which is declared outside all the functions, and it can be accessed anywhere in the program. It can be accessed anywhere in the, or it can be accessed throughout the program, whereas a local variable is a variable which is declared inside a function. Okay, so let me write this definition also. Local variable is a variable declared inside a function. Okay, and it can be accessed only inside that particular function in which it has been declared. Okay, so I hope now you have started getting a glimpse of what is local variable and what is a global variable. Okay, we will revisit this concept. So let me run this particular function, this particular program, and see what output it gives. Okay, so now if I try to print here, I said that this a will be local variable, it is declared inside this function, and this num will be a global variable, it is declared outside the function. It is known to every function that will be defined in this particular program. So let me run this, and if I run this, there is no problem. This a is local, it will print 10. Okay, and sorry, I have not called this function, so let me call it. So first it will print 20, as you know the execution order. So first it will print 10, 20, then it will call this function fun, and then it will print 10. So 20 and 10 should be the output. But my motive was not this. My motive was actually to demonstrate you that this variable a will not be accessible out here. Okay, so what happens if I try to print the value of a out here? Okay, so let me try to print the value a, and now you know that this a is a local variable. This was only accessible inside this function fun, and it will not be accessible in the main. Okay, so this must give you an error that the variable a is not defined. Okay, so let me run this, and you can see that this is giving error name a is not defined. And why this error it is giving? Because a is a local variable, it is not known outside the function fun. Okay, so I hope you got the concept. But now I am telling you that this num is a global variable, so it must be accessible inside the function also, because it is global. So it must be known to all the events, as we had seen in that real life example, that if you buy this particular num ticket, then it will be accessible, it can be used in any of the events. So for example, this fun is one event, and you must be able to use this ticket inside this function also. You must be able to use this particular global variable inside this function fun also. So let me try to print num here and see what output it gives. Let me erase this one because this is incorrect. You now know it, that it is a local variable. Okay, so now let's try to run it, and the output will be that first it will print 20, then it will call this function fun and it will print 10, and then it will print 20. So the num will be accessible inside this function fun also, because this num is a global variable. Okay, so let me run this and see what output it gives, and you can see that this is perfectly fine, and it is giving you output 20, 10 and 20. So first it is printing the value of global variable num 20, then it is printing the value of local variable a, which is 10, and then again it is printing the value of this global variable num inside the function, and which is again equal to 20. So this is the meaning of local and global variable. I hope you got the concept. Okay, then we will come to it again. I will demonstrate how actually it's happening, how this global and local concepts are happening. We will come to it again, but let me show you some more examples. And so let me declare one more function. So you must know that you inside a function also you can declare another function, that is nesting of functions also it is allowed. Okay, so let me declare a function out here, and let me write like this, def fun1. Okay, and then let me try to print the value of num here. Okay, and okay, so let me print the value of num here. Let me declare a variable here, and let me try to access it in the main. Okay, so now you must be knowing that this is your local variable which is only accessible inside the function fun1. Okay, and this num is your global variable which can be accessed inside the function fun also, inside the function fun1 also. Okay, so this is your local variable, and this a is your local variable, and this num is your global variable. So if you try to access a here, again it will give error because this is local to function fun1. So let's try to run this and see. Okay, let me call this function fun1 also, so that it gives some output. So let me call this function fun1, and you can see that this will give error that name a is not defined. So you are again here printing print a. This a was local to function fun1, and so it is giving error because you are trying to access it outside this function 1. It is not known outside this function fun1, and hence it is giving this error that name a is not defined. Okay, so we will see some more examples. We will come to it again as I promised, but let's first let me first tell you that what actually happens when you are taking global variables, when you are taking local variables. So we will now see creation of global and local environment with an example. Okay, so let me write the same program again. Let me write it again. I will write a function fun, and I will take two variables, or you can just write return. Okay, so a equal to 20, b equal to 30, and then return a plus b. Okay, and here you can write okay, so let me pass these two values out here, a comma b. Let me not write here, and then what I will do is that I will call this function. I will accept some numbers from the user. So x equal to int inter x. Okay, and then y equal to inter y, y equal to inter y, and then I will store it in some variable. So I will call this function, and now you know that it will be returning some value, so you can store it in some reference variable t equal to funxy, and then let's print t. Okay, so of course this function is nothing but simply it is a simple function which is returning sum of a and b. You are accepting two numbers from the user. Okay, so what's wrong? Okay, so int, sorry, I forgot to mention this input function, not an issue, and let me write this inter y. Now it's fine. So enter x, I will enter let's 10 and then 20, and you can see that output is 30. Now how this program is getting executed, that is very important, that how the global environment, how the local environment is getting executed. So So now you know. Let's first see the order of the execution. So let me first copy it here. I will demonstrate this concept to you, that how it is getting executed. So okay, so these are the line numbers, as you can see, as it is clear on your screen, that first it is, wait, okay, so you now know that first this line will be checked, this line will be executed, and this header will be checked whether it is correct or not. So the order of the execution will be, so let me write just once, so 1, and then it will come to line number 2, it will accept a number from the user, it will come to line number 3, and then it will go to line number 4, it will call the function, so it will be line number 1. Okay, so this is line number, sorry, there is a mistake. Okay, so the situation is like this. Okay, so first line number 1 will be executed, then line number 3 will be executed, okay, then line number 4 will be executed, then line number 5 will be executed, and you know that the line number 5 is containing a function call, so the control will go to 1, then it will go to 2, and then it will again come back to line number 5, and then finally it will execute the line number 6. So this will be the order of the execution. But how it is getting executed in terms of local and global variable, that is very important to see. Okay, so let's now understand the concept of creation of global and local environment. Okay, so this is your function fun, and now we are going to see the concept of creation of local and global environment. Okay, so you can see that when the line number 1 will be executed, so there nothing will happen, this line 2 will be ignored, and then the control will come to it. So line number 1 was correct, function header is correct, line number 2 will be ignored, and the control will come at line number 3. Okay, so you can see that this is accepting a number from the user. So actually when this line gets executed, then what actually happens is that a global environment gets created. Okay, so this x, you know, now you know that x is a global variable, it is declared outside all the functions, so it is global, and as soon as you write x equal to int input enter x, so a variable x in global environment will get created. Okay, so this is your global environment, the one shown in the oval shaped, and this is your global environment in which you have declared this variable x. And now again another variable with after 3, the line number 4 will get executed. So as soon as you execute it, another global variable y will get created in the global environment. And now when this t equal to fun xy is executed, then the control will go to this particular fun function. Okay, so as soon as this line number 1, the control goes to line number 1, then a local environment will get created. Listen to this concept very carefully, understand this concept very carefully, that how the local and global environments are getting created. Okay, so I hope you got up to this, that these x, y are in global environment, and now as soon as the control comes at line 5, the function will be called and the control will again go to line number 1. So as soon as it goes to line number 1, so what will happen, that a local environment will get created inside this global environment. So I am drawing this one here. So this is your local environment for function fun. Okay, so this is your local, let me differentiate it. So this is your local environment, and now what it will contain, actually it will contain A and it will contain B, sorry. So okay, so this will contain two variables, x and A and B. The global environment will contain two variables, x and y, and the local will contain two, the ones shown in orange color, this is your local environment which is containing two variables A and B. Now this local environment, listen very carefully, that as soon after this one, now you know that this particular A and B will get created, and there this is showing you the local environment for function fun, and after this now there is return statement. So this will return the summation of A and B to the global environment. Okay, so basically this local environment is returning sum of A and B to the global environment, and that is returned to this reference variable T. So what will happen, that as soon as this return statement will be executed, so sum of A and B will be computed, and that will be returned to this global environment. Okay, and that will be returned to T actually. And once the execution of line number 2 is over, this local environment will get lost. Okay, so this local environment will be no more. Okay, and the value returned will be stored in this global environment T. Okay, so what will this T store? It will basically store sum of X and Y. So the sum of X and Y will get stored inside this T. So I hope you got the concept how it was happening. Let me show you once again. So this was your A and B, which was created when the function was called, and this local variable will eventually return you the sum of A and B, and that will be returned to this global environment, and that will be actually returned to this variable T. So this T is nothing but it is sum of A and B, and finally it will print the value of T. Okay, so finally this program will print the value of this T, which is nothing but sum of X and Y, and finally this global environment will also get lost from the memory. It will also be erased from the memory. So this global environment will no more exist in the memory. So I hope you got the execution of this particular function. You can take, I will give you one assignment on this, or maybe in the next class that will be again a demonstration class in which I will solve so many programming questions based on this particular scope concept, this particular concept of creation of local and global environment, and then I hope the idea will be more clear. But if you are not able to understand it, you just watch it in repeat mode, and then there is nothing much to understand. This is only about creation of global environment, and when you call the function, then the local environment will be created, and once there is a return statement or the last statement of the function call, then the control will come out of the local environment. That is, the local environment will be removed from the memory. It will no more exist, and whatever values it is returning, that will be returned to the global environment. And finally, when the last line of the program gets executed, then the global environment is also erased from the memory. So that is the creation of an global and local environment in a nutshell. We will see some more examples later. Okay, so that's the meaning of global and local variables and creation of global and local environment. Now let's see what is the meaning of this resolving scope of variables. So I will give you one program. Let me write a program first, and then I will tell you what is this concept of resolving local and global variable. So suppose if I am writing A equal to 10 and I am printing A, okay, and then here also there is a variable A equal to 20, and then I am writing print A. Okay, so what will be the output? Let me call this function. Let me call this function. So the output will be, first you know that this line will be executed, then the control will come here, so it will output 20. You now see that here, okay, what will there be? So okay, so let me first run this and then I will come to it later. So this program will output 20 first, and then this function fun will be called, and this A variable is there. You can see that this local variable, okay, and this global variable share same name. Okay, they share same name. So now you might think that whether two variables will be created or only a single variable will be there. So let me tell you that two variables will be created. This one will be in the global environment and this one will be in the local environment. Okay, this one will be in the global environment. Just now I showed you concept of global and local environment. So this one will be in the global environment and this one will be in the local environment. Okay, and this A has nothing to do with this A. Okay, this particular A equal to 20, that is the global variable, has nothing to do with the A equal to 10, which is local variable. Okay, so what will be the output of this? It will first print 20, the global one, and then the function fun will be called. And now the very important question, whether this A will be this A or this A. Okay, and that is where the concept of LEGB comes into picture. Okay, so let me tell you that this will be local A, so output of this program will be 20 and 10. So what actually happens is that when we have to resolve that, suppose the local and global variables both are having same name, so in that case LEGB rule comes into picture. So LEGB rule says that first the variable should be looked in the local environment. Okay, now you know the meaning of local environment. Okay, if it is not present there, then you should see it in enclosing environment. Okay, I will tell you what is enclosing environment. Local, then enclosing, then it should look into the global environment. If it is not there also, then it should come to built-in environment. It should check in the, if there is some built-in value of that particular variable. So this should be the order: first local, followed by enclosing. If it is not in local, then enclosing. If not in enclosing, then global. And if not in global, then you should check in built-in environment. So this is again a very important concept, LEGB rule, and listen to it very carefully. See all the examples that I am going to demonstrate, and then you will know this concept very well. Okay, so for example, in this case, the very good example, that here first it will look at the value of A in the local environment, and you can see that the value of A is present in the local environment, so it will print 10 and not 20. If it was not here, if you had not defined A here, okay, then where it will see in the enclosing environment, but there is no enclosing environment, there is no function, function which is enclosing this function fun. So now next it will look into the global environment 20, and it would have printed 20. But since here you have defined A equal to 10, so it will first look into local, and hence it is printing 10 and not 20. So the output of this program was first 20, here you are printing 20, and then we are calling this function fun, and hence this value A is available in the local environment, so it will print 10. So the output of this particular program will be 20 and 10. So that's the order. Let's see another program, and then it will be more clear to you. Okay, so let's see this example, and here what's happening is that this is called your enclosing environment. Okay, so this is your enclosing environment for the function fun2. Okay, so here what will happen is that when the function, here what you are doing is that you are first declaring a global variable A equal to 20, and okay, so let me change it to 30, and what's first happening is that you are printing the value of A, so the output will be 20. Okay, so the output first will be 20, and now you are calling this function fun1. Okay, so as soon as the function fun1 will be called, the control will go here, A equal to 30. Now this is function definition, so it will not be executed until it is called. So the control will come here, and now this function is getting called. Now the very important part, that when this function is getting called, the control will come here, and now it will ask what is the value of A. Now where it will check? First it will check in the local environment, and now you can see that in this local, in the body of function fun2, there is no local variable A. Okay, there is no local variable A. So next where it will check? It will check in the enclosing environment. And what is the enclosing environment? The environment of the local environment of function fun1 is enclosing for function fun2. Okay, so it will check here, and now it will find this value of A, which is equal to 30. So what it will print? It will print 30. But what if this A is equal to 30 was not there? It would have gone to the global. But now since it is able to find this value A here, so what it will print? It will print 30. Okay, so the output of this particular program will be 20 and 30, and after that the control will come again back to the main. So that is how it happens. So let me run it, and let's show you that the value is 20 and 30. So you can see that the value is 20 and 30. First it printed the global value, and then it printed the enclosing value. But what if this one was not here? Okay, so as I told you that first it will look in the local environment. There was no value of A in the local environment of fun2, so it will go to the enclosing environment, that is fun1. Again A is not here, so it will next go to the global environment, and here it will be able to find the value of A, which is equal to 20. So it will print 20, and again it will print 20. So here first 20 will be printed because of this, and then here again 20 will be printed because of this. So now this A will be your global A. Okay, so let's run it and see that this value is equal to 20 and 20. So this is the concept of local enclosing global. Okay, now what if a variable was not in the global environment also? For example, I will tell you about this variable underscore underscore name underscore underscore. So this is, you can see that this particular variable underscore underscore name underscore underscore is not defined in the local environment, in the global environment also there is no such variable. Okay, so it is not available either in local, enclosing or global. So where it will check in the built-in environment. Okay, the built-in environment of Python. And let me tell you that in the built-in environment, the value of this variable underscore underscore name underscore underscore is underscore main. So what will be the output? The output will be this particular value, underscore underscore main underscore underscore, because the value of this particular name variable is main. So let me run this and show it to you. So okay, so let me run this and you can see that this is printing main. This 20 was because of this calling of function fun1. Okay, so need not worry about it, but you just focus on this particular part and you can see that this name variable is giving you the output main. And why it is giving? Because this is not available in local, enclosing or global environment, but it is because of the built-in environment. And so this is the order. Now I hope you understood it, that first local, then enclosing, then global, and then built-in. And what if it was not available in the built-in also? For example, let me take a random variable, say n. Okay, so what will be the output? Okay, so let me not call this function now. There is no need of calling this function. Okay, so let me, I am now using a variable n. So it will first check in local environment. There is no local environment for this particular situation. There is no enclosing environment also. There is global, there is no local global variable named n. So it will now check in the built-in environment. There is no built-in variable n, so it will give you error. Okay, so if it does not find the value for variable n in any of these environments, then only it will give error. So definitely it will give error that name n is not defined. Okay, so that's the order of finding, that's the order of resolving scope of a variable. Okay, and you must remember this order. I will give you many programs based on this particular topic and then it will be clear to you. Okay, now let's see the use of global keyword. What is global keyword? Okay, so next topic that we are going to see is use of global keyword. Okay, use of global keyword. Okay, so let's suppose that you write like this, print a. Okay, so what will happen? Now you know that first it will look in the local environment, and let's call this function. So let's call this function fun1. Let's call this function fun1. This a out here is global variable, and now when you call this function, what will happen? When you call this function fun1, it will first search in the local environment. There is no value for a. It will look in the enclosing environment. There is no enclosing environment. Now next it will check in the global environment, and in the global environment the value variable a is available and its value is 20. So what will be the output? The output of this particular program will be 20. It will print 20 for the variable a because it was available in the global environment. Now the very important question is, what if you want to modify this value, modify the value of this global variable a equal to 20? What if you wanted to modify it to 30? Suppose you wanted to change it to 30 by making use of this function. Now you know that if you declare like this, if you define a equal to 30, then it is not going to change the value of global variable. Why? Because as soon as you write this, a local variable a will get created with the value 30. So so let me show you this particular thing, how it will happen. So as soon as you write this particular function, so what will happen, that you have two environments. The first one will be your global environment, and in the global environment you will have variable a and its value will be 20. Okay, and there will be another local environment. As soon as you call this function fun1, then a local environment will get created, and inside this local environment there will be another variable. So even though they have the same name, another local variable a will get created and its value will be 30. I hope you got the concept. So if you print the value of a, this 30 will get printed, because now you know that it will first check in the local environment. Since in the local environment this a was present, so it will print the value 30 and it will not print value 20. Or even if you so you are changing the value from a equal to 20 to 30, but actually it is not changing the value of the global variable, but it's actually creating a new variable which is equal to a and its value is equal to 30. So even after calling this function, you print the value of a. So what will be the output? It will give you first 30 because inside, so let me run this. So output will be 30 and 20. Why? Because this function will not be able to change the value of the global variable a. So let me run this. So the output will be 30 and 20. And why? Now you know it. Okay, because so let me tell you, the order of the execution will be a equal to 20. You are calling this function fun1, so the control is going inside it, and when you are printing a, it will first check in the local environment. In the local environment, a equal to 30 was present, so it will print this a, and then the control will come outside this function. And you know that as soon as the control comes out of the function, this local environment will be destroyed. So this local environment will be no more. Okay, so let me just erase this one. So as soon as you come out of this function, this will get erased, and what will remain is this global variable a equal to 20. So if you try to print a, it will access this global variable. There is no local variable 30, and it will print the value 20. Okay, so now I hope you got the concept. So what was the problem? You were not able to modify this global variable. Okay, you are not able to modify this global variable even though you are using the same name, because if you are using the same name or even a different name, then a local variable will be created and this global variable will not get affected. Okay, so I hope you got the concept. So now how to access this global variable? So the way to access this is, you can access it, you can print its value. As you saw that if you want to just print it, that's okay. It will first check in the local. If it will not find, then it will go to the global environment and it will print the value 20. But what if you wanted to modify it? Okay, what if you wanted to change its value? What if you wanted to change the value of the global variable a? So in that case, you will have to first declare, you will have to first use the global keyword, and you will write global a. And now if you want, you can modify the value of a to some value, suppose 30. Now listen to it very carefully. What will happen in this case? Now no local variable a is getting created. So if you write like this, no local variable will be created. Okay, no local variable a will be created. Very important. Okay, and which variable you are accessing inside this function fun1? You are accessing this global variable. This one you are accessing, and you are changing its value to 30. Okay, so what will be the output? You can see that okay, so what will be the output? That first a equal to 20, then it will call the function fun1, and the control will go here. It will use the global variable a, and it will change its value to 30. And now if you print its value, the output will be 30. And after this, the control will come outside this function, and then it will come out here, and now the value of this global variable has been modified. It has been modified to 30. So now if you are printing this value a, it will give you 30, because now the global variable has been modified. Very important. Now not the local variable, but this global variable has been modified to 30, and so either you print it inside the function or you print it outside the function, it will print you the modified value, and you will get the output equal to 30. So let's run this, and you can see that the output is 30 and 30, which was as expected. So what is the use of the global keyword? Now okay, let me show you the environment creation for this particular program also. So how the environment will get created? First, you know that the value of a will be equal to 20. Now when the function fun1 will be called, then a global environment will be created, a local environment for function fun1 will be created, but there will be nothing inside this environment. Be very careful that there will be nothing inside this particular local environment. Why? Because you are not using any, you are not declaring any local variable, you are only using this global variable a. Okay, so you are using this particular variable and you are changing it to 30. So instead of 20, now it will become 30. So although this environment is getting created, there is no meaning of it, because you are not declaring any variable inside this environment. You are making modification in the global variable now. Okay, and now if you try to print the value of a, it will print you this value 30, and once this print a is executed, so 30 will get printed, and then it will, this particular environment will be erased from the memory. Okay, and then again you are printing the value of a, so it will print 30, and then this global environment will be erased from the memory. Finally, the global environment will also get erased from the memory. So I hope you got the concept for this concept of global. So what is the basically use of global keyword? It is global, let me write it, that global keyword is used to modify the value of global variable. Okay, why I am not writing used to access the value of global variable? Because even though you had not written global A and you had simply printed A, it would have accessed the global variable. I hope you got the idea. Okay, if you had not written this global A equal to 30 and you had written print A, then it would have printed 20. There was not a problem. But what if you wanted to modify A? You would have to use global A. If you had not done so, if you had written A equal to 30, then a local variable named A would have been created and its value would be 30. And once the control comes out of the function loop, this local environment would have been destroyed and this A would be no longer in the memory, and this global variable's value would not have been changed. It would have been equal to 20. But in this case, you are actually changing the value of the global variable. So you can access global variable without declaring this global A, but you cannot modify the value of global variable if you are not using this global keyword. So the primary purpose is that it is used to modify the value of global variable. Even it is also used to, global keyword is also used to declare a global variable. Okay, so it is also used to declare a global variable. What I mean by that, it will be clear in a moment, that it is also used to declare a global variable. So let me demonstrate it to you. What I will do is that I will not, what I was doing first, that I was writing a global variable here. Okay, even if you do not write this one, okay, and if you write like this, a global variable will get created. Okay, so no need to initialize a global variable like this. You can directly write a global A out here and still it will create a global variable A and it will assign value 30 to it. And even if you come out of the function, this A is actually in the global environment. Okay, because we have declared it using this global keyword. Okay, so if you come out of this function call, then also if you try to print the value of A, then it will print 30, because actually you had created a global variable and not a local variable, because you are using this global keyword. So what will be the output of this particular program? It will print 30 here and again it will print 30 here. So again you can see that the value will be 30 and 30. Okay, so it is not only used to modify the value of global variable, it is also used to declare a global variable. Okay, so as soon as you write global A inside a function a global variable will get created. So I hope you got the concept. Okay, so there are two uses of global keyword. It is used to modify the value of global variable, and in fact it is also used to declare a global variable. Okay, but it is not actually recommended to make use of the global keyword. Okay, you should try to avoid this use of global keyword. Okay, the local variable should be accessed locally and the global variable should be accessed globally. You should not try to use global variable inside your local variable. You should try to avoid its use to the best extent possible. Okay, so that's it about the today's class. Today we studied the meaning of scope. What is the meaning of scope in real life? I gave you this example of tickets, that if you are having if you are purchasing 3 tickets, there are 4 types of ticket, T, T1, T2, T3, and suppose T is for all the events, then using this ticket T you can participate in any of these events. So this is kind of your global ticket, but if you are purchasing this T1 ticket or T2 ticket or T3 ticket, then it will be valid for the respective events. It cannot be used for example, if you purchase this T1, you cannot participate in T2 and T3. So this is your local environment, this is your local variable, and this is your local ticket, but T is your global ticket. Okay, so I defined the meaning of scope. I told you that the portion of the program in which a variable is known is called scope. Okay, so for example, in this particular case, if I had to write A equal to 30, then this A was only known inside this function fun1, and if I had to write this, so this A was your global variable and it was known outside the function also and inside this function fun1 also. Okay, and so that was the definition of scope. Then I explained you the meaning of global and local variables through example. We saw how to create global and local environment with example. Okay, I showed you one program in which I created global and local environments. I told you that once the control comes out of the function, the local environment gets destroyed. Okay, it is erased, and once the execution of the program is over, the global environment is also erased. Okay, and then we come to the concept of resolving scope of variables, and I told you that this LEGB rule is applied. So first a variable is checked in the local scope. If it is available, then it's fine, otherwise it's next checked in the enclosing scope, then the global scope, and then in the built-in scope. Okay, and if it is not available in any of these scopes, then an error is given that this particular variable is invalid. Okay, and then I told you the use of the global keyword, and I told you that this global keyword is used to modify the value of global variable and inside a function, and it is also used to declare a global variable. Okay, so both these uses we saw through examples. So that's it for today. There will be an upcoming assignment based on, because this is very important topic, the scope, this concept of scope should be clear. In board examination also many questions are asked on this topic. So what I will actually do is that after completing these important topics, I will solve some important questions from the pre-board examinations. Okay, and we will solve the CBSE sample paper also, and we will see that what questions are asked on these important topics. So that will be very important class. Attend all the lectures, listen to them very carefully, and attempt whatever assignments I am giving. Then only it will be beneficial for you all. You all should show wholehearted participation. I am trying from my end, and you should try the same. Then only it will be beneficial for you all. It's not that you are just watching the lectures and you are skipping these things, you are just listening to it. So there will be no point in that. There will be no point in just listening to this lecture. You just practice parallelly whatever concepts I am teaching. You just try to execute on your laptop or mobile, and then you see whatever I am saying that is valid or not. You just verify it, and then whatever assignments I am giving, you have to solve all those assignments in time. I am setting a deadline also, so you all have to adhere to those deadlines. Then only there is point in delivering these kind of lectures, otherwise there is no meaning of it. So I hope you got my intention. So thank you for today, and stay safe, stay indoors. Thank you.